with Wangari.
Good morning. How is everyone? Welcome. This is Holistic Therapy. I hope that you have been keeping well. How many months? It has been like 2 months. You have done like 10 episodes. If you have not watched them, kindly go back, review them. We do a lot of good content here. I'm Rose Wangari. I have a master's in counseling psychology from the University of Nairobi. And I like it so much that you guys watch me. You know, counseling it's something that is just coming up, and people are continuing to appreciate what therapy can do, what counseling can do. And thank you for always visiting this space and always commenting, liking, viewing, sharing. So thank you so much. Today, there are people who don't know what counseling is for. Sometimes if you tell someone you are going for counseling, they would be like, you have a lot of money to waste. What are you going to do in therapy? When I was doing one of my degrees, it was made compulsory by the university for us to go for counseling, just to ensure that you don't transfer our baggage on you. When you come to my office, and I want to repeat again, you know, when you come to Thika Town, there is a Coca-Cola bottle there. That's where I operate from. So when you come there, just in Rafiki House, there is a right-hand corner office there. You get me. If you ask for Rose, you get me there. And I know my clients watch me. Thank you for always trusting me. So it was compulsory for us to go through counseling. And the most interesting thing is, I never thought counseling was important. But the moment I went, even if it was compulsory, I healed a lot. I realized that there was a lot of childhood issues, relationship issues, emotional issues that I was carrying. And let me tell you, if there was an investment that I made for myself that I'll never regret, it was going through therapy. And I usually tell people, sometimes I see people with 100,000 wig value on their head. And that head is going crazy. And you cannot even afford 3,000 or 4,000 per session for 5 sessions or even for 10 sessions just to go and fix your head. So this Christmas, please, go give yourself a gift of sorting out your issues. Look for someone professional. I don't usually force you to come and see me, but the reason why I like people seeing me, it is because I know that I'm a professional. I know I give quality. But even if you won't come to me, please just go somewhere else. Sort your emotional issues, you know, because sometimes you have a big house, a big car, a big career, you are living a big office, but your life feels still empty and confused. So today, the reason why I usually carry some small notes that I have written on me, it is because I talk about mental issues, and I don't just want to come here and just talk. I like sometimes doing reference because I'm dealing with people's minds. I don't want to gabble with that. So who needs counseling? Who should go for counseling? This is going to be a very short video, but I want us to understand who needs counseling. When you hear that people are going for through counseling, who needs it? Is counseling reserved for crazy people? Is counseling reserved for people who don't have anything to do? Is counseling reserved to people who are going through extreme health, mental, or psychological issues? So, first of all, if you are looking for a counselor, look for someone who you feel you are connecting, you feel they respect you, you feel they care about you, you feel they are not assuming you, and also someone who can be, if there is something that you are trained on in mental health, it is keeping details of a client confidential. So never ask me. Even if you bring someone, I counsel them, please don't come and ask me what we are talking about with them, because I won't tell you. Confidentiality. Look for someone who can keep your issues to themselves. So who needs counseling? And why do people seek counseling? You need counseling if you are really struggling with strong emotions. Emotions of anger, emotions of suicide, emotions of... Have you ever seen these people who have a level of emotional, in quotes, immaturity? You cannot have a mature conversation with someone without your emotions getting in the way. You cannot progress in life because emotions of bitterness, guilt, shame, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, anger, I talked about it, resentment, rejection. If you are feeling that you have emotions that are beyond you, you cannot function properly because they are there. You need counseling. The other person who needs counseling if you are trying to navigate through difficult situations. We know sometimes grief comes our way. Grief comes maybe when you have lost a loved one, when you make great changes in your life, you have gotten married, you have gotten kids, you have changed a job, sometimes you are retiring, you don't know after you retire what will happen, you have difficulties, just have difficulties, you are trying to navigate a difficult situation, a breakup, a promotion. There are people who, when they are given a promotion, they don't know how to set goals for them to fit in such kind of an environment. The other person who needs counseling, it is someone who is healing from childhood traumas. I have realized that sometimes when you go through a lot as a child, it has a way of making you get stuck. Sometimes when you go through rejection, sometimes when you cannot understand why things were done to you in this and this manner, sometimes you find that you have a lot of childhood issues. Maybe you lost your parents. Maybe you felt like you come from a dysfunctional family. Your parents are always fighting. You feel that maybe someone was loved more than you. Sometimes maybe you find that you are dealing with traumas of how maybe your parents, maybe your relatives, someone maybe passed through, maybe there's so many childhood issues that people try to navigate, and I have realized that the reason why most of us cannot move forward, it is because our past carries a lot, so if you're trying to heal from childhood issues and you find that you project your childhood traumas to other people, you need counseling. The other thing, it is if you are trying to identify goals and potential solutions, which causes you emotional turmoil. Sometimes there are people who go through this life, they're really trying to find themselves. You're trying to find who you are, what goals, what do you live for? You're trying to navigate to understand your purpose. You don't know what to do. You are stuck. You don't know which course to take. You don't know, you have taken a course, you feel lost. You don't know where that course is taking you. You are trying to set a goal. You want to start a business. You are stuck. You have fears, to take those risks. So if you are trying to set goals, if you're trying to maybe to gain more confidence on how to set your goals, on how maybe to navigate through those goals, on how maybe to make sure that your goals are smart enough and they shall come to pass and they shall materialize, maybe you need counseling, the other thing, it is to improve communication. The reason why most of our marriages, most of our relationships, most of our workplaces, they are in trouble, it is because we cannot communicate. It is because a lot of our emotions, they keep on getting on the way. You cannot talk about a sentence without being triggered. You cannot have a conversation with someone without your fears, without your issues getting in the way. You cannot say because I usually tell my children, instead of shouting and crying and maybe saying a lot of things, just put your emotions, put what you want in words. Instead of putting it in emotions, put it in words and try to say what you mean, So if you don't know what to say, if you're struggling with communication, counseling is for you. The other thing is that maybe if you are suffering from lack of self-esteem, you are struggling with rejection, you are struggling with lack of confidence, you are struggling with self-hate, you don't think you are good enough, you don't think you are worth enough. Maybe people have told you enough that you're stupid, that you are not good enough, that you are not worth, and maybe that is maybe the feeling that you carry from inside. Sometimes you think you are unlovable. So if you're going through those kinds of emotions, that's very important. The other thing, it is to get coping skills. This life is hard, and especially if you don't know how to cope with your own issues. If you don't know how to cope with what you go through, this life is really hard. And one thing, when you go through counseling, counseling is not advice giving. You won't come to my office and then I sit here and I give you advice. That's not what I do. What I do is I give you coping skills. I ask you questions. We look for solutions, but don't tell me to give you an advice. The reason is when I give you advice, you always come to me because you'll be dependent. But when I give you a coping mechanism on how to deal with that bitterness, on how to move forward, on how to move away from your trauma, what will happen, on how to solve your grief, what will happen if you experience grief the next moment, you'll be able to handle it because you already have the skills to do that. So another person who needs counseling, it is because you cannot sustain a relationship. There are people who hop from one relationship to another. There are people who hop from one church to another. There are people who hop from one employment to another. There are people who hop from one place to another, one boyfriend to another, one marriage to another. If you cannot sustain a relationship and you think that it has a lot to do with you, because I say even in the moment of divorce or separation, even if you contributed just 0.001%, there is something in you that needs to be improved for you to be able to move forward. So if you are struggling in sustaining relationship, you can do that. The other thing, it is to help you make decisions and maybe help you to create boundaries. So there are people in this life who, if they just created boundaries, if they just created, leave alone physical boundaries, even emotional boundaries, they would be very far. So if you get yourself in that category, and the other thing is maybe development. If you're trying to develop, if you're trying to better yourself and you don't know how to do that, counseling is for you. So another thing, if maybe you are struggling from addiction, drug addiction, you take bangi, you take alcohol, you take you chew mirror, you take cocaine, you take a lot of cigarettes, So if you are struggling, with drug addiction, counseling is for you. The other thing is, if you need behavior modification, we know there are people who are struggling with maybe someone is in illicit sexual activities. Someone maybe is a wife batterer. Sometimes maybe you need a behavior change in something. You are just lazy. You procrastinate a lot. You don't even understand why you do the things you do. So sometimes when you want a behavior change, it's not even coming through. Sometimes you're not empathetic. You keep on hurting people. You don't know how to navigate through that. Counseling is for you. So the other thing is, if you navigate through maybe some mental illnesses, let's say schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is, in layman's language, it's madness. So bipolar disorders, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, depression, and you're going to handle depression next week. Depression, those kind of mental illnesses, you also need counseling, because even as you take meds, you need talk therapy, because they go hand in hand. Because at a dawa, even when you see them, if talk therapy can do for you, because personally, disclaimer, I don't give medicine. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a counseling psychologist. So if you can avoid taking medicine, although sometimes some extreme cases you need to take medication, maybe for some mood stabilizers and all that, So if counseling can work for you, because again, your liver gets overworked through taking a lot of medicine, things like drugs. So if talk therapy can work for you, the better. So I want just to clarify that counseling is not for crazy people. Counseling is not for people who are losing it. Counseling can do all that. So as usual, kindly like this content, share it. Share it with other people. Sometimes there are people who need a counselor, but they don't know where they can get one. There are people who don't know, they don't know even whether there are counselors who exist. Some of us we are well endowed. We live in places, maybe in urban places, where there are counselors. There are people who are in shags there. They don't know whether counselors exist, but they are still struggling with their own issues. So you need to move forward. You need to better yourself. Counseling is for you. Counseling is for you. And counseling right now, it's not that expensive. But the moment it's itashika, Some of us, some people, you won't get them again because maybe you shall be doing other things, you know. So take advantage, take advantage. You know, even this Christmas, don't close the ear with your mental issues. Look for someone. Look for someone, go talk with them. Let them know. Let go and find yourself. Are we together? So I love you, you know that. So kindly subscribe, like, comment. And if you are suffering in any one of those categories, and even others that I've not mentioned, okay? So come and see me, go see another therapist. I'm going to put my information in the description box. I love you. Have a good day. Bye.